Day 17, we get to cover one of my favorite movies of all time, Fright Night. Came out in 1985. It's rated R. It's an hour and 46 minutes. And it is all about this guy, Charlie Brewster, who is played by William Ragsdale. And a vampire ends up moving next door. And he's obsessed with this TV show called Fright Night. You know, shocker. Play on words there. And he loves this guy named Peter Vincent, who's played by Robbie McDowell, who obviously in the show he kills vampires, yada yada yada. And so the film starts off with us going into Charlie Brewster's house, and he's I'm really gonna show my age here. He's macking on his girlfriend, who is played by Amanda Burse. Her character name is Amy, and he's like, he gets all frustrated and mad, like all guys do, even the respectable ones, because he wants to have sex. Shocker, it's the 80s, and she's like, I don't want to do it, whatever. So she decides, all right, she changes her mind. She goes, let's do it. She ends up taking her shirt off. You see her bra. Well, guess what? Brewster's more focused on the people moving in next door. And this is the first time you end up seeing Jerry Dandridge, who's played by Chris Sarandon. And he is probably one of the best vampires that has ever donned the screen, because he's so charismatic. He really draws you in. Even the way that Tom Holland, who ended up directing this, he ended up directing Child's Play and a couple other great horror films. So the way that they did Jerry Dandridge's vampire is very creative, because it's like, it's a monster, but it's still a vampire, and just the way that Sarandon played Dandridge was very, very spot on. Now, we end up getting introduced to Charlie Brewster's best friend, Ed, who's played by Stephen Jeffries, and the minute that Brewster gets Ed into this, everything goes haywire. Amy gets to the point that she doesn't believe Brewster about any of this stuff, and he has plenty of evidence as to what exactly is going on and why he's so convinced that Dandridge is a vampire, to the point that he ends up calling Peter Vincent and goes, you've done this, da da da. Well, Brewster doesn't realize he's just an actor. Excuse me. And long story short, the scenes end up escalating to the point that, obviously, as you can see behind me, that's Amy. She turns into a vampire. Ed turns into a vampire. And it's just Brewster against Dandridge. And just the way that Ragsdale and Sarandon end up, portraying their characters and helping the story along, it makes the movie just that good. I mean, I don't know if I'm being biased because I love 80s horror, but there's no CGI. The practical effects are amazing. And the story really captures you, because you sit there and think to yourself, well, if you were, I guess, into horror, like, for example, me, is this how you would act? Because I probably would. My wife would be like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'd be like, there's a vampire next door. And she'd be like, no, I don't believe you. And it's the way that our minds work when you see this stuff, because you just want to get to the end of it and you want to figure out the truth, because in horror movies, it's very hard to find the truth. Now, IMDb gave it a 7.1 out of 10, which I'm very, very surprised of, because, like I said, I mean, it's a great story. The way that the actors portray their characters definitely keeps everything going, and keeps you in tuned. Even there's a there's a scene at a nightclub where Tandridge, you can tell, is completely older than these kids, and he's serenading Amy, and nobody, I don't know if it's a vampire superpower or whatever, but like nobody questioned it. He took her out of there, nothing. Now, I don't want to give away too much, but please give this a watch because it is probably one of the best films that came out of the 80s. And sadly, there was a part 2 now, but trying to find where to watch part 2, maybe you can watch it on YouTube, but it's very hard to find. A buddy of mine helped me, and it was just as good as the first one, so I don't know why it's so hard to find it. But sadly, this is not on any streaming service, but I highly suggest you go out and rent it, whether it's from Vudu or YouTube or Google Play, because, excuse me, this movie is 100% worth it, and I highly suggest you give it a watch. Let me know if you feel the same way, but trust me, it is definitely worth it.